Good evening and welcome to the 8th edition of our Facebook Live event. I'm Warren Yudlowski, the General Manager of Beachcomber Hot Tubs and Patio Edmonton, and welcome to everybody who is joining us tonight. And as always, Sean Part is here with me to take your questions. So if during tonight's event you have any questions, please feel free to type them in, and Sean will make a note of them. And as we get to the end of tonight's session, I will really try to go through as many of them as I can. And as I've said over the past number of events, that any questions that I cannot get through tonight, please feel free to email me at Warren, WARREN, at beachcomber.ab.ca. So again, welcome everybody. I know tonight, based on who I've spoken to over the past few days and over the past week, I know tonight we'll have some new customers who, some of you probably will not even have your hot tub yet, and that's exciting as you wait for your new beachcomber to arrive. And I know we'll, as usual, have a number of customers who have been with us over our past 8 events, or 7 events, I should say. And I know there'll be some great new and interesting things you'll hear tonight. So tonight's agenda really is talking a bit about, as we move into fall and early winter, now is the time when the majority of people are looking to drain and refill their hot tubs. And I know for those of you who have either been to my live events at our customer appreciation nights, which we'll discuss a bit at the end tonight, or those of you who have actually tuned into some of these events over the past 18 months. And by the way, just to remind everybody, all the videos that we have done, all the Facebook Live videos that we've done to date are in 2 places. They're on our website, which is beachcomber.ab.ca, as well as on our Facebook page. So please feel free to go back to any of these. They're recorded. They all have different agendas and different topics that I know will help you to enjoy your hot tub more than you have in the past. So again, tonight's event is really going to talk about fall and winter tips and draining and refilling of your hot tub. I know, as I've mentioned to people over the years, and I've trained our staff over the years to tell everybody and educate customers, that traditionally we drain and refill our hot tubs every spring and every fall. So I've always kind of said, you know, as you get into March, April, and the spring, and it starts to warm up, as well as in the fall, as you get into October, November, we've always kind of used Halloween as kind of that time when people drain and refill their tub. Now's the time to do a full cleansing and draining of the tub and basically prepare for winter, which is what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. So I want to start off by talking a little bit about what to do when it comes time to drain your hot tub. And for a lot of people who maybe this is your first drain, I know I spoke to a few people. I know I was in Sherwood Park at our Sherwood Park location last week and talked to a new customer who she had just gotten her hot tub in August, and she was asking some questions. Okay, I'm coming up to my first drain here now in October. What should I expect? What should I do? So first thing I mention to people, if your hot tub is at least a year old, and I've had people say to me, what if my hot tub is new? Do I have to do a full cleanse or purge of the hot tub? I've always said, you've got to wait till your tub is about a year old, and that's when you want to use this product called Pipe Cleanse. And Pipe Cleanse is a phenomenal product. It initially came out in other formats over the years to look after jetted hot tubs in houses. So we would buy a house that had a jetted hot tub in it, and people would come into our stores and say, how do I clean? How do I flush the lines? I want to be able to, have a massage, a jetted tub tonight, this weekend. What do I do? We had a whirlpool flush, as it was called back in the day. It was called Swirl Away. And I'd say, put that in the tub, turn your jets on, make sure that you're flushing everything out of there. And basically, you'll be able to start with a brand new jetted hot tub, or what a lot of people called a jacuzzi back in the day. So with this product called Pipe Cleanse, what you would do is very simply, number one thing you would do is open up all your jets. So for example, if you happen to have turned some of your back jets off that you've been using over the past 4 to 6 months, please be sure they're all turned in the open position. If you have neck massages, make sure those are all turned on as well. If you happen to have a Beachcomber hot tub or other brand that has a foot massage, or what we call a Beachcomber reflex foot massage, make sure that reflex foot massage dial is turned halfway. So basically that there is flow to every single jet in the hot tub. Second thing you would do, and this is prior to pouring in your pipe cleanse, is make sure that you take your basket out. So the basket, which would be on top of your filter, I'm hoping most of you are using these filter savers, which I've said over the past 7 or 8 events, one of the best, I guess, things that we've come out with over the years, one of the best inventions, which is this pre-filter. So I would assume if it's been in there like mine has now, been for just over 3 weeks, it's starting to get, leaves and hair and lint and grass and bugs and so on caught in there. Make sure you take this off, make sure that you throw it out, and you can start with a brand new fresh one once you refill the tub. So take your basket out first and then remove your filter. So remove your microfilter, take your filter out. At this time, and especially as we get into the fall time, a lot of people say, is it time yet to replace my filters? I've told people most filters and most customers have at least 2 that they're interchanging every 4 to 5 weeks. If your filter is a year, 2 years old, it's a perfect time to start with new filters. The beauty of a Beachcomber microfilter, it is one of the least expensive filters in the industry. And at $39.99, it's well worth it to replace it if you've now had it for 12 to 18 months. But if you've got a new filter and you want to clean it, now's the time where you would want to actually take out your filter soak. And what you would do is take this microfilter. If you've got one of our filter cleaning flasks or using a 5-gallon pail, fill it with warm water, take your filter soak, okay? And the beauty of this product is twofold. Number one, it's only a 1-hour soak. So as you pour it into the warm water, it soaks for an hour. And the second big benefit is when you pull this microfilter out, it's actually going to be blue in color. So all these pleats that are white now and nice and clean and brand new, they're going to turn blue. And what you're going to do is take your garden hose, and again, you can hose outside because we still have access for hoses today. If it gets cooler and you're doing it in November and maybe you've made a mistake and you've waited too long, feel free, take it to the car wash, keep it far enough away that you don't tear the pleats. Some people have taken it into their bathtubs and showers, making sure that they get all the cleaner out. And you basically continue to rinse this filter until these pleats look white again. And that way, you've got all your filter cleaner out, and let it dry out till the next month, okay? So now you've got your filter out. What do? You take your pipe cleanse and you pour it into the hot tub. Now, here's another tip right away, which I'll tell you. Make sure that before you turn your jets on, because what you're going to want to do over the next 24 hours is try to keep as much flow as you can. So yes, if you can have your jets on high speed, that's fantastic. Even if it's low speed, that's fine as well. But what you want to do is you want to turn off those 2 air controls. And again, a reminder to a lot of customers, what are the air controls? That's what creates the bubbles or the jets or the pressure when you're going to go in and get a proper massage. So close those air controls off, because what you're going to find is when you turn your tub onto high speed, if you have those air controls open, this pipe cleanse product is going to foam up profusely. So again, very important, you close those air controls off, and as much as you can over the next 24 hours, continue to go out and try to turn those jets on, at least on low speed, so you continue to have flow. So 24 hours later, it's time to drain your hot tub. What are you going to do? Obviously, turn your power off. For those of you who have not drained it, turn your breaker off, and then take your garden hose. And what we've done traditionally for many years is hooked up our garden hose to our standard drain taps. And it's been probably over 30 years since we've actually had pumps that could pump out the tub, but they are basically gravity fed. What's the negative? As it gets colder outside, it takes a long time to drain. So one of the products that we brought out a number of years ago, and I would say it's one of the most underused and utilized products that we've had in our 3 Edmonton area stores over the years, is something which is called a quick drain. This quick drain product here is phenomenal. For the average size hot tub out there, a 1,500 liter hot tub, once you get prime, and basically what you're going to be doing is putting the end of this quick drain into the hot tub. You're going to pump it 10 to 15 times to get that suction going. Okay, once the suction goes, you're going to give it another 4 or 5 pumps, and in 45 minutes, your hot tub is going to be empty. So fantastic as it starts to cool off right now, and people are saying, oh my goodness, it's taking me hours and hours, and I don't want to wait. I'm worried about my pump getting cold. I'm worried about things freezing. This quick drain is the best $89.99 you'll ever spend. And it's one of those products that we have had for years. We don't promote it as well as we should, but I tell you right now, the people that have it, love it, and it allows you to drain that hot tub very quickly. So once your hot tub is drained out, as your hot tub is draining, and especially if you're using one of these quick drains, very important, and here's the other tip I'll give people with the Pipe Cleanse product. I've had customers that have drained the tub with Pipe Cleanse. They've come back the next day, the day after, and say, okay, now I'm going to wipe my tub off. I'm going to take some of my tub clean, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to wipe the tub down, okay? Well, the first thing I tell people is if you wait a certain length of time, it's going to be very sticky. Your coat's going to be sticky. You're going to have a hard time with tub clean or any other product getting your hot tub back to its original state. So what I tell people is, as it's draining, take your tub clean, continue to wipe it as it's still wet, still fresh, and that way when you get to the bottom, you're going to have a nice clean acrylic tub. Give it a quick rinse, and that's the other thing I mentioned to people. Be sure that you are rinsing this tub clean product out, because if you don't, when you go to refill the tub and start it again, you're going to have more foam than normal. Okay, so you're going to get foam. It's going to be a clean foam. It'll look like probably your washing machine or your dishwasher, but it's going to be foaming more than normal. So give it a good rinse, get that water out, and then, as we'll talk about in a few minutes, it's time to refill. Okay, I want to give another couple of tips. A lot of people have asked me, where can I drain this water? Do I have to drain it to the city sewer? Do I have to drain it to my back alley? Where can it go? Well, the reality is, and I've talked to a number of people that are in the horticulture business, people in the tree service business, and I've always asked them, when do trees need water? Obviously, we know the summer. We're watering our plants, we're watering our trees during the hottest months. And one of the things they say, especially in the fall, is it's a great time now to really soak your trees. So people that have spruce trees, pine trees, birch trees, whatever you've got in your backyard today, what a great opportunity to take that 1,000 to 1,500 liters of water and make sure you're soaking those trees. So why not use the water from your hot tub? Okay. Now here's a couple of tips. Number one, we want to be sure, especially if we've had high sanitizer level, we've recently shocked or sanitized the water. It's been a normal weekly routine, and our chlorine or bromine levels are up at that 4, 5, 6 level. What you're going to want to do is take a product called Neutralizer. And I've mentioned over a number of our Facebook Lives, this product is something every customer should have. And I will tell you, I have not drained my hot tub in many, many years without putting Neutralizer in, because what it will do is it'll reduce that chlorine or bromine level or sanitizer level down to 0 to allow you to drain the tub anywhere. Now, here's the second thing that people forget. We talk a lot about in prior sessions about properly, looking after your water and making sure that your pH and total alkalinity are in line. And that is the balancing of your water. As we've mentioned in prior sessions, the pH of the water is very, very important. And if your pH is low and below 7.2, your water becomes acidic. And just imagine the word acid. Imagine pouring acid on your concrete outside. And there's reasons for doing that. You're trying to remove stains. But imagine pouring acid onto your grass, onto your trees, onto wherever you're going to drain your hot tub. Obviously, that's not a good thing. So what do we want to do? Prior to doing this drain, prior to hooking up either your garden hose to your gravity-fed drain tap or your quick drain, balance your pH level. If your pH is low, okay, which is the norm for most people in Alberta and the Edmonton area, make sure you add some pH plus, retest it again. Once it gets into that 7.2 to 7.8 range, go for it. Get it drained, and you can take that water and water anything you want, okay? So make sure those air controls are closed, get it drained. Now your tub is empty. It's time to refill. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about filling the tub. One thing people ask me is, where do I fill it? Do I just stick the hose in the middle of the hot tub? And sure, we've been doing that for years. Nothing wrong with that. But one of the best places that you can actually fill your hot tub is right in your filter area. And because one of the things that people find, we have people that have LEAP edition hot tubs, which is where your equipment is internal especially, and they would call us after trying to get it going and they couldn't get prime. They were getting a DR or a dry error message on their tub, an error code, and they couldn't get the tub running. So what I tell people is take that garden hose and put it right into the filter area. So now you've got your filter back on, you've got your basket in place, you've put your brand new clean filter saver on, you've put your little weir on top with that floating weir that bobs up and down. Stick that garden hose right into the filter area. That will really help to blow out and bleed out any air that could possibly build up, especially in a LEAP edition hot tub, okay? So that's where I would be putting it every single time. Obviously, when your tub is 2/3 to a half into that microfilter area, which is normally 6 to 8 inches from the top, now it's time to turn your power on and go, okay? Here's a couple other tips. People ask me, okay, what happens now as it gets cold? And I will tell you, we're human. We procrastinate and we think, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to get this drained. Now it's mid-November. I haven't drained yet. It's -2, -5 degrees. I got to get it done because I hear there's a cold snap coming. My garden hose is frozen. I've turned my outside taps off. What do I do? Where am I going to get my water? It's a lot of 5-gallon pails to fill my hot tub up. What I've always told people is, don't forget, you've got taps in the house. So whether it's taps in the kitchen, whether it's a tap in the nearest master bedroom washroom, You also have washing machine taps. There's taps on your washing machine. Feel free, disconnect that hose, hook up your garden hose to that, run it out to your hot tub and fill it. So you can always use inside taps. A lot of people have taps in the basement downstairs. What I'm going to mention to you, and this is something people have asked me, should I hook it up directly to a hot water tank? I will tell you no. That is very, very hot, scalding water, and that's not a smart thing to do. If you're going to mix that with cold water, that's less of an issue, but I would not fill it with your hot water tank. Use a standard tap in the house, okay? Here's another tip I'm going to give you. A lot of people are worried because they don't have a quick drain. They're draining the tub. It's taking 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on a garden hose, standard gravity-fed drain tap to drain their hot tub. They're worried about pumps freezing up, okay? Here's the one thing I'm going to mention to you. A lot of people have asked, what do I do? Is there a way I can keep things warm? Sure. If you don't have one at home, they're not expensive. Your local big box department store, Canadian Tire, Home Depot, Revy, Walmart will have a small space heater. Take that space heater, put it on low speed, and what you're going to want to do at that time is just put it in the pump area and have it in the pump. So whether you've got a hush pump, which is the pump that runs 24 hours a day in your hot tub, or just a massage pump that does both the filtering and circulating and heating and your massaging, put it on low speed. Just keep things warm in that area. So if you've got a Beachcomber hybrid, it'll be underneath the step. So put it under the step, put your step back in place. Again, don't forget low speed. That's all you need. We don't need it on high. We don't need it melting anything. If you've got a Leap Edition tub, put it in where your door is. Just keep things warmer there. That way, by the time you wipe the tub down, you get it filled again. What it's going to allow is your wet end and this impeller to turn freely when it comes time to turn the tub back on again. Now, we'll get calls at this time of the year, not this time, probably a month from now as it starts to cool off and it's below zero. And people are calling and saying, I turned my tub on and all I hear is a humming noise. I can't get this pump going. Something's wrong. I need a service call. What I tell people is it's actually in most cases a very simple fix. And right in front of me right now is what's called a hush pump. And this is our 24-hour circulating pump on every Beachcomber Hybrid 4 Edition. One of the things you want to do, and I can give you a quick tip right now, which will take you seconds to get this pump going again. So what I tell people is if you've got heat and you've got a little space heater that's keeping it warm up here in the wet end area, all you got to do is take a flathead screwdriver, go to the back of the pump, and what there is a little plug in the back. And what this plug does is this plug actually pops off. And what you're going to do is you're going to be able to take this flathead screwdriver and connect it to the back of this. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn this clockwise. And if this actual wet end turns clockwise, guess what? That means that it's moving freely and it'll get going. Sometimes there's a little bit of ice, just a tiny bit of ice in this wet end. And what it's doing is it's actually causing this pump not to turn. So as I turn it, there it goes. All of a sudden it runs free and it's going like crazy and everything's working fine. I've had people in the middle of summer where that's happened. They've said all of a sudden they go outside and something's wrong. They don't think their circulating pump's working. Take this flathead screwdriver, give it a turn clockwise. Don't forget that. Turn it clockwise and presto, your pump's ready to go again. So here's a quick tip if you end up having any issues with your pump getting it going, if there's any kind of a cold snap. Okay, now it's time to get to your startup procedures. So go through your normal startup procedures again, whichever system you're on, if it's a Carefree program, if you're on our Ultrasol program, or normal Chlor and Bromo program, or Minilux program. If you don't have your startup and you've lost it, please feel free, call in, email into the store. We can email your startup and you can get started and go down through your normal process. All right, I'm going to give you a few winter tips right now as we move into the winter months. A lot of people have asked me and said, it's my first winter. I'm unsure. What should I be wary of? First thing I mention to people is it's very important in the winter to keep track of your water level. I'm assuming now as things start to open up, and now again, I just heard, and I think a lot of us have heard that the U.S. is starting to open up the borders now, and people are going to start traveling again. Some people that have their winter homes down south in the Phoenix, Palm Spring areas are going to start, being more snowbirds again over the last 2 years. We haven't been able to do that. So what happens is people say, what happens if my water gets low? That's a huge issue. And in the winter, even if you're not home for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks or 2 or 3 months at a time, have a neighbor, a family member, a friend stop by every couple of weeks just to take a quick look. Lift your lid, make sure that you've got water going into your filter area. That's really important because if that water level ever gets below your microfilter area, that's when your tub can run dry and cause you problems. So that's the first tip. Make sure you're keeping a proper water level. The second thing I always tell people is, especially for those of you, and one of the things we've talked about is this floating dispenser over the last 7 or 8 events, and I have for 25 to 30 years during my Watercare seminars that I've run during customer appreciation nights, is that don't forget, when you're using this tablet system, and especially when you're gone away, this is when no one's home. I used to joke about feeding the chickens and milking the cows with your granular, and you've got this little floater with bromine or chlorine discs floating in there. What's happening is it's adding acid to the water. It's lowering your alkalinity, it's lowering your pH levels, and it's making your water acidic. And that is one of the reasons why we find in the wintertime especially, and we all get lazy, it's winter, maybe we're not using the tub as much, we've had a cold snap, we haven't been out there for 3, 4, 5, 6 days at a time, and all of a sudden we go to test our water and we go, oh my goodness, my pH is bottomed out, my total alkalinity is bottomed out. That's why it's important to raise those levels up and keep them in their proper ranges. Because one thing I will tell you, our number one service call between December and February of every year, since the day we started back in the early to mid 1980s, is tripping breakers. People would walk outside, they lift the lid, and the panic would start. Oh my goodness, my tub's not on, my keypad is blank, I can't reset my breaker, what's wrong? Well, I will tell you, it's pretty amazing when I show you this little heating element, for those of you who have not seen this, to believe that this little 5.5 heating element is what's heating our beachcomber hot tubs today is truly amazing. And the minute that this heating element has any corrosion on it, it has a chance to trip the breaker. Now, normally what will happen is you'll get what I call a nuisance trip. It'll trip once, you're able to go over to your GFI, turn it back on again, and you might be good for weeks or months on end. But eventually, what will happen is this heating element will get to the point where there's corrosion, either on the connections that you see here on the nut area, or a connection, or actually the actual element itself will get full of calcium, and most importantly, will be broken down if you have low pH and become acidic. I've seen these come back and people walked in and say, is it normal that this should be green? I go, actually, that means it's amazing your hot tub has been running as long as it has with a heater element that's corroded that badly. So very important to make sure that you're keeping your pH and alkalinity in its proper ranges so you're not getting a tripping breaker and then coming home to a surprise when your tub is shut off. Okay. Question, Sean. Any questions on there that we've seen? I saw a question come on. Someone had asked me a question right at the beginning and asked about draining it on the grass. I saw that right at the beginning, and that's a really interesting question because people have asked me, can I water my lawn? I go, well, sure you can. Again, as long as two things have happened. Number one, you've got that chlorine or bromine level below 1 part per million, and I guess it surprises a lot of you when I say this that when you actually go and water your grass through the summer, if you were actually to take your test strip, or you're actually going to go and take your drop kit and you're going to test the water, what's going to happen is you're going to be surprised, especially in the spring, when you see that you have close to 1 part per million of chlorine in the water that is going into your hot tub or that you're drinking out of your tap. So realistic, what does that mean? Well, if you water your grass with that level of chlorine, well, guess what? Why couldn't you do that from your hot tub? And that's why this neutralizer is there. We just don't want to put a chlorinated or brominated water that is at 2, 3, 4, or 5 parts per million onto your grass just to make sure it doesn't bleach or kill things. And as I mentioned earlier, making sure that your pH is in range because low pH is very, very important to not have when you go to drain your hot tub at that time. Okay, I see a question coming in right now. And the question is, great question. Should we check the heater element regularly? Realistically, you as a consumer and me as a consumer, I can't check that element. I will tell you, when you talk to electricians and when we do install hot tubs, they do talk about checking your breakers once in a while, turning them off, turning them back on, making sure that breaker's in a good situation. But realistically, there's nothing you can do. Even by you pulling out your element, if you were to say, you know what, the tub's empty, I'm going to take the end of my heater housing off, I'm going to pull my element off, I'm going to disconnect the 2 leads that are on there, and you get into all that, you could pull this out and it looks like you could eat dinner with it. And guess what? 2 months from now, it might just trip your breaker. So at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. The best thing you can do is keep your water balanced. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on that today, but pH and alkalinity are still the number one thing that you can do to make sure that you're going to have fewer and fewer service calls moving forward. Okay, I have saw another question coming in here. I know, Sean, it came over the screen here right now. Sean's just going to pass this to me. For those of you, by the way, that are on the call right now, please make sure that you wait to the end. And I've got an interesting giveaway for everybody that's tuned in tonight. And I'm going to announce a couple of special promotions that we have. Great question. The question is, how do you save on energy costs in the winter? That's a great question. I tell you right now, and hopefully the first thing you've done is you've made the proper decision about a Beachcomber hot tub, which I can guarantee you is the world's most efficient hot tub. And considering that Beachcomber's got close to R42 insulation, which is 3 to 4 times better than every house out there, and a great R15 cover on top, and to make it even better, if you bought a Beachcomber Hybrid 4 Edition, which has that little hush pump that runs 24 hours a day, draws 0.6 of an amp out of your panel, guess what? You've got the most efficient hot tub in the world, and that's the best way to save energy. Now, the one thing I will mention, because I will get this question from customers, I'll get that from my staff, especially the new staff that maybe they're going through their first or second winter. They'll say, I have a customer asking, should they be changing their heating cycles? Okay, because every Beachcomber hot tub and most hot tubs out there have at least 3 different heating cycles. The one heating cycle that we keep the hot tub on all the time is what's called standard mode. What standard mode means, if your tub drops 1 degree in temperature, it'll always automatically heat up and maintain that temperature. That is the mode you should keep every single Beachcomber hot tub at all the time. Yes, there are other modes. If you've got a Balboa system, if you've got a Gecko system, it's called a sleep mode or economy mode. And those modes were meant for people in the summer if they went on holidays. A lot of our American counterparts are in warm climates. Where does it matter if your hot tub cools to 90 and then you decide to heat it back up to 104 degrees? Realistically, if you're down south in the southern US and it's always 75, 80, 85 degrees, yeah, that might save you a few pennies here and there. I will tell you right now, in Alberta, especially with a Beachcomber hot tub, if you are cooling it and heating it and cooling it and heating it, I will guarantee it'll cost you more money in heating bills this winter. If you maintain that temperature and you've got that cover on top and you're putting the cover down every time you're not using it, I'll guarantee it will cost you pennies a day to heat. So the reality is there anything you can do? No, keep it on standard mode and make sure that you're keeping it at that temperature. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing over this next couple of days. For those of you who have been with us for a number of years, and Heather, thanks for watching. I know Heather has been someone that has been a great supporter of these Facebook Live events and a supporter of our company. We've traditionally ran over the last 35 plus years what are called customer appreciation nights. And we've traditionally ran one in the spring. We'll run the spring one at our south location on 99th Street. We'll run our fall or early winter one here at our West End store where I am tonight doing this Facebook Live event. And we had hoped over the last 2 years, because we've had a phenomenal turnout and phenomenal response to our new Sherwood Park store out on Baseline Road, we were really hoping to have 3 customer appreciation events. And what those events were really for was for us to say thank you to you out there that have supported us and have continued to support us with your business, your referrals to new customers, and for us to say thank you. And we would have some food, we'd have some drinks and some refreshments. At times we've had entertainment. This year we had some phenomenal plans. We actually had food trucks ready to go. We had tents set up. We actually had some entertainment, some live entertainment that was going to come. And obviously, we've seen what's going on with this 4th wave right now. And unfortunately, we're just not able to have the hundreds of people that we'd want to have into our store here at the West End and into our West End parking lot. And again, to say thank you to all of you. And that's when I would run this type of event. Well, hopefully what we're hoping to see is we can get through this winter and get through this 4th wave and hopefully get the levels down to where we can have people in. We're hoping to have a true Spring 2022 Customer Appreciation event, which will be held more than likely at our Southside location. We will have, again, we'll decide. I like the food truck idea. We want to be outside, enjoy the spring. We're going to be able to enjoy spring for those of us hot tub owners because we're going to have a hot tub. But the reality is we want to get you back in. So what we did instead of doing that is we're going to run our 3-day sale. We've ran this promotion before. It has been extremely, extremely positive. People have come back and said it's one of the best things that you've done. And what I tell people, this is a perfect time for you to load up on your Watercare products and accessories for the winter. So what this promotion is, it's now on at every one of our 3 Edmonton and area locations. So tomorrow morning at 9:30, you're able to go into those locations. If for some reason you're not able to get into town, please feel free. Call your order in, email your order in. We will have it set aside for you, but it's our tiered program. And I will tell you, we have many customers that'll take advantage of this full 30% off if you spend over $500 in Watercare products. Don't forget, the Watercare products you buy from us have a 6 to 12 month shelf life. The key is, obviously, especially in the colder months, don't leave your products outside. And even in the summer, don't leave it outside. Keep it in a room temperature dark place, under the sink, in a closet, somewhere like that. You'll get 6 months to a year to these products. So a perfect time for you to load up and look for things like these types of products that you maybe wouldn't have bought before. You know, these quick drains and other things that you maybe have looked at are hot tub vacuums, things like that. Great opportunity to load up and grab a couple extra microfilters at the same time. So this promotion is on until Sunday at 5 o'clock. Again, if you're not able to get into one of our 3 Edmonton area stores, please feel free. Call in, email in. We'll make sure that we've got your order set aside. You can come in and pick it up next week or when you're back in town. The other thing that we've got going on right now is our cover promotion. Every spring and every fall, we run a $50 off cover promotion. At the end of the day, and going into that question, and I apologize, I missed that. Here's the other thing. One of the best ways that you can make sure that you're keeping your winter costs down is make sure your heat shield is at maximum efficiency. People ask me all the time, okay, how long should my cover, how long should my heat shield last? Realistically, the average hot tub cover has a 5 to 7 year life. If that cover is getting heavy, which means it's waterlogged, it's lost a lot of that R value. And yes, we lose heat from all areas. We lose heat from the top of our tub, we lose heat from the sides, and we also lose a lot of heat, which a lot of people don't think of, through the bottom of our hot tub. Now, again, Beachcomber hot tubs, whether you have a LEAP edition or hybrid edition, are fully 100% cavity-filled insulated, which means we are maximizing that heat retention all around the entire hot tub. So, what's the best time to buy a hot tub cover? I would say right now. This is when I need that maximum efficiency. So if your hot tub cover is in that 5, 6, 7, 8 year range, what a great opportunity to save yourself some money and purchase a Beachcomber hot tub heat shield. Now, just so you know, we do have stock in virtually every single size, and there's 3 basic sizes of Beachcomber hot tub. We do have a round and a 520, a small 2-person size as well, in both the steel gray and the tan brown color. So we should have stock in virtually every one of those colors if you're in need of a heat shield here before the end of this promotion. All right, I want to talk about one other thing that we've got going on. For the up until Friday, until the 15th, we've been running an additional 10% off patio furniture. So what I wanted to do for anybody that's out there today, whether it's patio furniture, and we'll be running this in our stores if you were coming in to do again, celebrate with us in our customer appreciation night, we'd be giving you an additional 10% off the lowest price on everything in the store. I'm going to give that to everybody who's watching tonight, anybody who watches this on tape, because it'll be on as of tonight. So for tomorrow morning, on Saturday and Sunday, if you come in before Sunday at close, take an additional 10% off anything in our store. So whether it's barbecues, whether it's patio furniture, gazebo, whatever you want to add, now's the time to do it. We do have a lot of inventory. We've been able to now do some things in ProAct, and a lot of inventory that we had hoped to have in the spring and the summer has now arrived. The selection at your Beachcomber store is as good as it's been all year. So great time if you're looking for something for spring. All right, last thing, as a thank you for all you that are on there today. And by the way, I'm just going to mention one other thing for those you didn't get on right at 6 o'clock. If you still have questions, feel free to email one of 2 emails. Customer care, all one word, so customercare@beachcomber.ab.ca, or you can email me directly, who is Warren, Warren, @beachcomber.ab.ca, and I will make sure that I answer your questions, because I know there are questions out there that you might think of even after this session tonight and say, boy, I wish I would have asked that. I just thought of this. Can you give me an answer to that question? I will personally answer all those questions. Okay, so here's the bonus tonight. Everybody that has been watching tonight and sees this before 5 o'clock on Sunday, go into your local Beachcomber store. Again, as a reminder, a lot of you go to that same store all the time. So you people out east in Sherwood Park area, thank you very much for supporting our wonderful Sherwood Park store on Baseline Road. The south side customers, people south of town, have been going to our 99th Street store now for 27 plus years. And people in the West End here for over 40 years have been coming to our West End location. So go to any 3 of your stores, tell them you watched Warren, say I saw Warren on her Facebook Live, and pick up one of these fantastic Dazzle Cover Cleanse products. So what I tell people, as long as it's above 0 and you've got that existing heat shield, what a great opportunity to, first of all, use some soap and water. That's the first thing you want to do is clean that cover. So clean the top, clean the underside, give it a good rinse, make sure that you've got all the dirt off it, and then take some cover cleanse and put it on a sponge or a rag and wipe that entire cover. What it's going to do is going to moisturize and UV protect that marine grade vinyl that you've got on your hot tub cover and bring that original luster that you had when you first purchased it. So what a great opportunity. I tell people it's a product you should use every fall and every spring, which is when we drain and refill our hot tubs. So please come in, pick up a free bottle of this cover cleanse. And again, thank you everybody for joining me tonight. So don't forget, if you have questions after this session, email warren@beachcomber.ab.ca or customercare@beachcomber.ab.ca. Again, thank you everybody for this last 10 months of 2021. We really hope we can join all of you in person again come this spring. Good luck. Enjoy your hot tubs. Let's stay positive and stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you soon.